Hi everyone. Today we're going to go over a little tutorial for Chaturanga Dandasana, also known as four-limb staff pose. So I've got some props here that we'll use to show you different ways that you can use props to help build up muscle memory to get into Chaturanga properly. First thing we're going to talk about are hands. In many of the poses that we do, our hands and our feet are often in connection with the ground, and everything starts with our connection from the ground. And in Chaturanga, our hands have to be very active. So a common mistake or common tendency, we could say, is when our hands are on the mat, there's a tendency to let the fingers be very passive and just kind of rest on the mat. And so you see what happens then is that a lot of the weight dumps in to the wrists. So it ends up potentially putting a lot of pressure on the wrists, especially if I come up into downward dog or I'm in a more weight-bearing pose. So I like to think about my hands as starfish stuck to a rock to make all parts of them active. So really pressing your fingers into the mat so you see the nail beds turn white. So this is in tabletop, in downward dog, all of these poses, we want this same active starfish hands in our engagement. So when we come in to our plank, we want to keep our active hands, wrists in line with shoulders, and keeping the abs pulled in like zipping up your hoodie on a sweatshirt. Heels pressing towards the wall. So when I come into Chaturanga, another common mistake is coming just from here and trying to lower down. See how I don't have space for my shoulders to move, so then my elbows might wing out. So what I need to do is rock my shoulders forward of my fingers just slightly, and then lower down, elbows grazing the ribs. Now I want my shoulders no lower than my elbows. So common mistake here is my elbows going low, my shoulders going lower than my elbows, and it has a tendency to put a lot of strain on the elbows. So to help us figure out how low we need to go, there are a couple ways that you can do this with props. One, you can take your yoga strap and put it, about the width of what your arms would be in line with your shoulders, and then put it right above the elbows. And so what this is going to function as is almost like a brake or training wheels. So it's going to stop you when your shoulders are in the right position. So we can come back, our nice active fingers pulling the abs in, coming into that plank, shoulders start over the wrists, and then rock forward and then lower down. And you see that the strap stops me before my shoulders can go too low. So you can practice that with a strap. It might take a little bit to finagle getting it in the right position. You can also practice the same thing with knees down. Same thing, I'm going to rock forward a little bit, and then the strap is going to stop me when my shoulders get into the position that they want. So think about shoulders and elbows make this 90-degree bend. So it's okay. So that's, the target position, shoulders in line with the elbows. The shoulders can be above the elbows. Sometimes, some days when my shoulders are tight, that feels more comfortable for my shoulders. Second option, and this is actually the one I like a little better personally, is you can take your blocks and you can put your blocks on their highest setting and then place your hands right behind the blocks. Remember, make those active starfish hands, come into the plank, pull the abs in, everything is gauged, rock forward just a little bit and lower, elbows graze ribs. And when your shoulders touch the blocks, you know you've gone far enough. And then you can come back up. You can start from downward dog. You can rock forward, get into your plank, rock a little bit forward, come down, keep the abs engaged. Sometimes it's easy to let that dump. Abs engaged, and come back up. Again, you can also do this from knees down to help build up the core and upper body strength to get here. So keep the abs engaged, hands engaged, rock forward and lower down. Elbows graze the ribs and back up. So you can practice it with the elbow or the knees on the ground. And then you start to build up that muscle memory for where your shoulders are going to land. And then you can take your training wheels away and then work on it from here. And up, knees down, lower, and come back up. If you don't have blocks, a perfect substitute for blocks is 2 stacks of books. So on the highest height here, the blocks are about 9 inches tall. So you could take 2 sturdy stacks of books, about 9 inches tall, and they would serve the same thing. Just putting them shoulder width apart. And same thing, you come down till your shoulders touch the blocks and then back up. So several different options for you. Choose which one you like, and that way you can start to practice Chaturanga. Know exactly where your shoulders should be in space as you're moving through Chaturanga. So enjoy. Thank you. Bye.